Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Welcome everybody to ISKCON of Silicon Valley, where we have a vow to keep the vibration, the transcendental vibration going. And as a result of the transcendental vibration, just like when the sun comes out in the springtime, then the plants grow. So similarly, we can see these beautiful bhakti plants growing. Don't they look effulgent and like plants growing towards the spiritual world? Yes. A little more though. Come on. Another result of keeping the transcendental vibration going is that it attracts great personalities, those who can help us forward on spiritual life. So today we have His Grace Satyadev Prabhu, who's come here, appeared just like Narada Muni appears from time to time. He's come here. Please welcome him. For those who don't know, he's a very dear disciple of Srila Prabhupada, who joined Krishna consciousness in 1970 in Japan, and has had an extremely successful devotional career, travels all over the world, Japan and China especially. He's concentrating right now and spreading Krishna consciousness profusely. We'd also like to welcome Her Grace Danishta Devi Dasi Prabhu, who's right here. Very close god sister of mine who we joined at the same time practically, about a month apart from one another, in San Francisco on Valencia Street, and many good memories, and I'm very happy to have been reconnected to her recently. We just had a program over in the East Bay because of her enthusiasm, and we're extremely happy that you're here today to grace this ceremony. Thank you very much. Please, for Danishta. And for all of you who have appeared here, you're Vaishnavas. You're the most special souls in the universe who have come here to this place. I can't imagine where you've all come from. That is in the cosmic scheme of things. There's a way in which you're very close to Krishna, all of you. That's why you're here, worshiping the holy name, and showing such enthusiasm for the process of giving Krishna consciousness to others. So let's welcome everybody who's come here today. Today what we'll all be participating in, and I say all because this is a group activity. We're giving our hearts and souls and our good wishes to all of these devotees who have come here specifically because they've established themselves firmly in devotional service, and they're eager to make vows to go further. They've seen that the purpose of life is to dedicate themselves fully to Krishna's service, and they're taking every step that they hear about in the Shastra to do that. So we feel very fortunate to have you here today, and all of us, we can participate by pouring out our hearts during this ceremony in goodwill to help them on their journey back home, back to Godhead, because it's not such an easy thing. There are, as we make momentous vows, we will meet momentous challenges. So let us pray that those challenges will be set aside easily by the power of Lord Nityananda Balaram. Gaur Premanande Haribol. We also are very fortunate because we have an unusually qualified priest today, His Grace Srivas Pandit Prabhu, who everybody here at ISV knows and loves very much. He's our Shiksha Guru. And he is a pure-hearted Vaishnav. So all of you are very fortunate to have him performing your ceremony today. Things are looking up from all sides. We offer our obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is presiding over this temple and over many temples all over the world as the founder Acharya. He is the anchor. He is the overseer, the permitter. We only move by His mercy and by the instructions that He's given. We keep fidelity. We are constantly on the tuner, making sure we're tuned into His frequency. Because there's a lot of other frequencies, and it's easy for the dial to spin one way or the other. So during this ceremony today, we take shelter of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He is our beacon. And we take shelter of Sri Sri Radhamadan Mohanji, who have appeared right here in the exact center of Silicon Valley. Just as Naimisaranya is the exact center of the universe, this temple with Sri Sri Radhamadan Mohan, Sriman Mahaprabhu, who is holding out his hands to extend as much mercy as possible, and Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsingadev. They've appeared here to purify this entire region of the Silicon Valley. So we pray to Sri Sri Radhamadan Mohan, Sriman Mahaprabhu, Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, all the acharyas, to please shower their mercy on these initiates today, and indeed everyone that's gathered for this auspicious ceremony on September 25th, 2016. Om Tat Sat. Now, Srivas Pandit Prabhu will conduct the purificatory rite of chanting the mantra and then touching water for purification, a universal means of starting ceremonies or entering temples. But he'll need the head mic, I think, if you can produce that quickly. Pass some microphone over. There.
So kindly repeat after me. There is a water in front of you. Before we start, I just wanted everybody to know that when Vaisesika Prabhu calls for you, you just stand up and you walk past. You offer obeisances at an angle which is so that your feet is not pointing towards Srila Prabhupada. And when you get up, you also meditate on your Guru and then also on the deities, and then come back when he gives the name. So everybody is clear about that. There were some questions about it. Any other questions? No. Prabhupada, the thing is because...
He's on the altar also,
yeah.
so they can also
Perfect,
do that.
Yes. So kindly repeat after me. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavasthan gatopi va yasmare pundarikaksham sabahya abhyantara suchihi Shri Vishnu. So you take some water and then put it in your palm and say Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Then you purify that and then say Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Narayanaya Namaha.
Then you say that, clean it, and then say Om Madhusudanaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Madhavaya Namaha. Kindly repeat after me. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavasthan gatopi va yasmare pundarikaksham sabahya abhyantara suchihi Shri Vishnu. Again. Om Keshwaya Namaha. Om Narayanaaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
So the last time, kindly repeat. Om
Om
Apavitra
Apavitra
Pavitro Va
Pavitro Va
Sarvavasthan
Sarvavastan
Gatopi Va
Gatopi Va
Yahasmaret
Yahasmared
Pundarikaksham
Kundarikaksham
Sabahya
Sabhaya
Abhyantara
Abhyantara
Shuchihi
Shichihi
Sri Vishnu
Shri Vishnu
Sri Vishnu
Shri Vishnu
Sri Vishnu
Shri Vishnu.
Om Keshwaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Namaha.
Now we'll do the
Now
Brahma.
we'll chant the Brahma Samhita together, starting with Ishvara Parama Krishna and then Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namaha. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Invoking Srila Prabhupada's presence at this celebration and special ceremony, I'm going to read a purport to you that he wrote to a verse in the Bhagavatam, which is 2:422. And the verse goes like this: Prachodita yena pura saraswati vitan vata jasya satim smritim hridhi swalakshana pradurabhut kalishyataha same rishinam rishabha prasidatam. Translation: May the Lord, who in the beginning of creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. As we have already discussed herein before, the Lord, as the supersoul of all living beings, from Brahma to the insignificant ant, endows all with the required knowledge potent in every living being. A living being is sufficiently potent to possess knowledge from the Lord in the proportion of 56 fourths, or 78%. What percentage? 78. Okay. Of the full knowledge acquirable. Since the living being is constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord, he is unable to assimilate all the knowledge that the Lord possesses himself. In the conditioned state, the living being is subject to forget everything after a change of body known as death. This potent knowledge is again inspired by the Lord from within the heart of every living being, and it is known as the awakening of knowledge, for it is comparable to awakening from sleep or unconsciousness. This awakening of knowledge is under the full control of the Lord, and therefore we find in the practical world different grades of knowledge in different persons. This awakening of knowledge is neither an automatic nor a material interaction. The supply source is the Lord himself, Dhyam Patihi. For even Brahma is also subject to this regulation of the Supreme Creator. In the beginning of the creation, Brahma is born first without any father and mother, because before Brahma there were no other living beings. Brahma is born from the lotus which grows from the abdomen of the Garbhadakshayi Vishnu, and therefore he is known as Aja. This Brahma, or Aja, is also a living being, part and parcel of the Lord, But being the most pious devotee of the Lord, Brahma is inspired by the Lord to create, subsequent to the main creation by the Lord through the agency of material nature. Therefore, neither the material nature nor Brahma is independent of the Lord. The material scientist can merely observe the reactions of the material nature without understanding the direction behind such activities. As a child can see the action of electricity without any knowledge of the powerhouse engineer. This imperfect knowledge of the material scientist is due to a poor fund of knowledge. The Vedic knowledge was therefore first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed the Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly the speaker of the Vedic knowledge, but actually he was inspired by the Lord to receive such transcendental knowledge as it directly descends from the Lord. The Vedas are therefore called apaurusheya, or not imparted by any created being. Before the creation, the Lord was there, Narayano Paro Vyaktat, and therefore the words spoken by the Lord are vibrations of transcendental sound. There is a gulf of difference between the two qualities of sound, namely prakrita and aprakrita. The physicist can deal only with the prakrit sound, or sound vibrated in this material sky. And therefore, we must know that the Vedic sounds recorded in symbolic expressions cannot be understood by anyone within the universe unless and until one is inspired by the vibration of supernatural, aprakrita sound, which descends in the chain of disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, and so on. No mundane scholar can translate or reveal the true import of the Vedic mantras, hymns. They cannot be understood unless one is inspired or initiated by the authorized spiritual master. The original spiritual master is the Lord himself, and the succession comes down through the sources of parampara, as clearly stated in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So unless one receives the transcendental knowledge from the authorized parampara, one should be considered useless, nishpala mataha, even though one may be greatly qualified in the mundane advancements of arts and science. Shukadeva Goswami is praying to the Lord by dint of being inspired from within by the Lord, so that he could rightly explain the facts and figures of creation as inquired by Maharaj Parikshit. A spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator like the mundane scholar, but is Shotriyam Brahmanishtam. So I appreciated this purport for many reasons. One of them is that Srila Prabhupada distinguishes between prakrita and aprakrita sound, that there's a different effect from hearing material sound and hearing spiritual sound. Anyarevahur sambhavad, anyarahur asambhavad, iti shushrumadhiranam yenas tadvichichakshire. One result is obtained by worshiping the supreme cause of all causes, and another result is obtained by worshiping that which is not supreme. And for those who have tried worshiping that which is not supreme and have found themselves frustrated, there is an answer. The Lord actually opens this universe for those who are looking for that answer. It's right at the tip of everyone's consciousness. They simply need to inquire, and therefore the Brahma Sutras, which are a summation of all the Vedic literatures, say, Atato Brahma Jignasa, now inquire, ask the big question. There are a lot of how questions that people ask in Silicon Valley. How do you make this? How do you do that? How do you get this? But hardly anybody asks the why questions. Those are more challenging. But the answer is there. And there is a very optimistic yes waiting on the other side of one's inquiry. In fact, some great sages have said this Omkar is the big yes in the universe. It's continually saying yes. You have full access to everything that you want if you simply inquire. And this purport points out that it's not an ordinary process to come in contact with that sound vibration. One has to essentially use oneself as a life experiment. Oftentimes people do this anyway in mundane experiments. You see people that go off to the desert for 20 years to study a certain kind of lizard. I know biologists who have done this. They dedicate their lives to cataloging lizards, and then they'll specialize in a particular lizard. And how long have you been doing that? 35 years. So it's not outside the scope of the human energy to devote oneself to a particular discipline. But we're interested in a discipline that brings us to the ultimate goal of life. And one has to organize one's life in such a way that one can receive transcendental sound. In the Gita, Krishna says, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti de jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Oftentimes we hear verses again and again, we think, oh yeah, that verse. But the verse actually holds the key. Not only is it spoken by Krishna himself, so it's unlimitedly meaningful and beautiful. But it also, when practically applied in organizing our life, opens us to supreme happiness. Tadvidi pranipatena means that I've beat my head against the wall in the material world, and now I give up to a higher cause. This requires great sincerity within the heart of the candidate. Pariprashnena means that one no longer is inquiring about ways in which to make oneself more comfortable in the material world. Or if one is, it's a very secondary consideration. It's taken into the spirit given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Kamasya nendriya pritir labo jiveti yavata jivasya tattva jignasya narto yashcheha karma bihi. And that is that one should eat to live and not live to eat, as some people do nowadays. It's considered an art to be a quote-unquote foodie. And we don't do that, although we are foodies in our own right. We're the best of foodies, but we're doing it in a better way, in a transcendental way. But one should inquire repeatedly to find out the why question, and the question is forthcoming. Krishna is there, ready to reveal that through one's heart, through the teachers one approaches after Krishna arranges for them to come into our life to answer the questions, and even through our own environment. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions when he sees the grass, he thinks of how humble the grass is. He sees the trees and says, look how tolerant the tree is. And one becomes attuned to Krishna's teachings within everything when one is in this mood of inquiry, asking, how can I do? In fact, Prabhupada said, once one receives this instruction from the Supreme, or from one spiritual master to advance in spiritual life, but feels practically that I can't do it, or that it's very difficult, or there are many obstacles, one can simply say again and again, how can I do? How can I do? How can I do? And by asking this again and again, Krishna reveals the means by which we can advance in spiritual life. So the answer is given in this verse, where the nourishment comes from in spiritual life. It's from the aprakrit sound. There is sound vibration that's not part of this material world. Actually, the sound vibration in this material world is the beginning of creation. Even in the Bible, it's mentioned that in the very beginning, the Lord said, let there be light. And was there light? Yes, there was. Why? Because he said it. Language exists before the creation of this material world. And even in this world, we know that we're bound by our language. We say, your word is your bond. If you speak on an airline, for instance, I noticed recently if you sit in the exit row, they come around and they ask you if you're willing to save everybody on the plane if the plane crashes. And they want a verbal yes. You can't just go, sure, like that. They say you have to say yes, using your tongue and mouth. You have to enunciate. Say, yes, I will save everyone on the plane if the plane crashes. And somehow that's legally binding. Your word is your bond. When the speech comes out, it makes an impact on the universe. The world moves by mantra, as Navina Nirada likes to say. Everything moves by mantra. And we know that authorized speech, even in this world we can see examples, authorized speech, as is being mentioned in this verse, the parampara, is the venue of authorized speech. So let's look at this world. Mundane example. Man goes to court after committing a crime, and after being tried by a jury of his peers, the judge comes back with a verdict. And he says, you will be hanged by the neck until dead. May God have mercy on your soul. Does he not say that? Yes or yes? Yes. And what happens next? An appeal. After many appeals, what happens after that? No, let's say it's in Singapore. What happens then? He's hanged. And why? Because the judge spoke it, and he's an authorized agent. And if I say it, you should go hang yourself, or you should be hanged, he'll go home and have a sandwich and be fine. But if the judge says it in the right venue with his authorized speech, the man will be hanged. And even if he's not, even if it's on appeal for many, many years, still that hangs over him for the rest of his life, because that speech was made, because that verbiage was brought into the world. If a priest in California, you have to be an authorized priest to do a wedding ceremony, and the only legally binding part of the ceremony is when you say, I now pronounce you man and wife. If you're recognized by the state of California, in fact, they even say that in the ceremony, now by the power vested in me by the state of California, I now pronounce you man and wife. Now you're man and wife. And somebody has to witness that, write it down, and say, he said it, it's done, now you're married. So in the same way, there's language within the spiritual world. And when Krishna speaks, he's the most authorized. In fact, he's called Satya Sankalpa. Whatever he says, goes. Whatever he says becomes reality. Whenever there's transcendental or uppercut speech, it creates reality. And whenever there's prakat speech, or speech that's only related to the material world, or more clearly defined, disjointed from the spiritual world. That is, it has no relationship to the spiritual world, as Lord Krishna says in the original 4 verses of the Bhagavatam, Mritir tam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyarat manomhayam yatabhaso yatatamaha. Anything that is enacted that doesn't have a connection to the supreme absolute truth is illusory. It has no permanent existence. It comes and goes. The sound of this material world comes and goes, becomes recycled, and it has no permanent effect. But the sound emanating from the spiritual world has a permanent effect, and it creates reality. And reality means that we have an eternal relationship with Krishna. And that relationship will be revived by staying in contact with transcendental sound. What to speak if you do what you're all doing here today? And that is, come into an assembly, come before Krishna personally, come before the Vaishnavas, come before the Vaishnavacharyas, and say that I'm dedicating my life to this transcendental sound. What will the effect be then? In fact, this is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that sometimes people accidentally utter transcendental sound. I was just joking around. I didn't mean it. Too late. You said it. Hare Krishna. You Hare Krishna. And then, why are you a Hare Krishna? They say Hare Krishna, and the next thing, they've uttered the transcendental sound. So Bhagavatam says there's an eternal effect from that. And the Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur, mentions there are various ways in which people accidentally or incidentally utter the holy names. They'll say it in a joking way. They'll say it to deride someone. Say, you Hare Krishna should go away. And say, okay, you said Hare Krishna, fine. Other people, they say it because there's a mixing of syllables. And they're saying the Wino Rama store, whatever it is, the Rama name is there. And Haridas Thakur then says that such people get great benefit from saying the holy name because it's reality. But he says, those like you who hear about the power of apricot sound and then make a determination based on well-reasoned faith, after you've carefully studied both sides, you've examined it, you've entered into the experiment with your own life, and you've seen it for yourself, and you decide, I will now move forward, and I will make this my central focus in life. Haridas Thakur then says, those who perform that experiment will come to a stage of existence which is practically unimaginable. That is direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about it in his own prayers when he says that as he speaks the holy name, as he repeats the Lord's name, he experiences devastation in his body. These are ecstatic symptoms. Tears flow from his eyes. His hair stands on end. And the holy name takes him by the hand and leads him into the spiritual world, introducing him to his beloved Lord and his eternal relationship with the Lord. And all of the great acharyas are teaching this, that this is the means by which one can come to the perfect stage of life, through this apricot sound. So today's initiation ceremony, in today's initiation ceremony, we have two of you who are Radhakripa Prabhu and Jai Kanai Prabhu, who are accepting second initiation, mantra diksha. They took initiation into the chanting of the holy names, and now they are taking a further vow, which is during the sandhyas, that is morning around 6 o'clock, afternoon at noon, and then in the evening around 6 p.m., to sit down and repeat the Gayatri mantras. There are 7 Gayatri mantras given in our Gaudiya Vaishnava line. And these mantras give us a very personal connection to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're like a rope that you can hold on to that will pull you back to the spiritual world. They emanate from the sound of Krishna's flute. If that wasn't intriguing enough, everyone should be rushing to do this. Like, I want to hear Krishna's flute. How do you do it? I mean, isn't that a little intriguing? Yeah, it's intriguing. And it's mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. We didn't chant this part, but earlier on, there's a description of the creation, how it takes place. And when Brahma comes into the world, he's in complete darkness. And he hears a sound, tapasya, tapa, perform tapasya. Also Brahma Samhita mentions how goddess Saraswati, who is the goddess of speech, she's Vak. Vak means she's the source of all language. Language is a divine gift, actually. It's a gift to human beings and demigods. Animals don't have it. Sariputta Prabhu explained in the science of linguistics that even the highest of the primates, although they do have some language, like Coco, anybody know Coco? The gorilla? Somebody tell me. Thank you very much. We have one student of zoology in here. Coco can say things with sign language. She's a very advanced gorilla. And there are dolphins that can say things, but animals can't get syntax. Sariputta Prabhu was saying, if they want a banana, they can say, want, banana, banana, banana. I was going to say everyone say, but I don't want to do that. But they can't say, I would have liked to have had a banana if they had been fresh or flown in from a different place. Now I prefer to wait until next week. That requires an amazing combination of ideas, combinations, permutations of language techniques to express such a thing. But it's natural, even for human babies. After a little while, they can put syntax together, they can do it. That's a divine gift. That comes from Vak. We have a debating champion here. And we know from the Shastras that when the great Digvijay Pandit approached Navadvip, he was confident in his defeating everyone because he was blessed by Saraswati. That was his deity. He prayed for, do you pray to Saraswati? Okay. To bless him, of course, he lost because he faced the husband of Saraswati, the Lord of Saraswati. But the point is that it's divinely bestowed language. In fact, even for human beings to think in complex ways, language has to be there within the thoughts, and it exists before the creation. And so when the sound comes into this world, as it does, through the divine flute of Sri Krishna, it's mentioned, Uvacha puratas tasmai tasya divya saraswati kama krishnaya govinda he gopi jana ityapi bhalabaya priyafanir mantram te dasyati priyam tapastam tapa etena tava siddhir bhavishyati atate pe sasuchinam prinan govindamaviyam shweta deepa patim krishnam golokasyam parat param prakrita gunarupinya rupinya paripasitam Sahasradala sampande koti kinchalka brimhite bhumish chintamanis tatra karni kare mahasane. It says that Goddess Saraswati appeared before Brahma and gave him a mantra, the spiritual formula. And then she said, this is your tapasya. And if you perform this tapasya, all your desires will be fulfilled. Who would like to volunteer? Raise your hand. Yes. And we know that Gopakumar and the Bhagavatamrita received the mantra, and he uttered the mantra because he felt some gratitude to his spiritual master who had given it to him and then walked away without giving him any instruction. But then the mantra guided him back home, back to Godhead, gave him everything. So this mantra is important. And we're receiving it just as Brahma received it. That's the meaning of this initiation. And in this second initiation, you'll receive the mantra that I've received from my spiritual master, that he received from his spiritual master, which is passed down the same sound because it's been preserved within the right environment. It has to be nurtured and kept pristine by the Sambandha Gyan, or all the information and knowledge that we're given about how to live one's life, how to dedicate one's life to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim, service for service. We're serving the mantra. We're not asking the mantra to serve us. And this is the mood of our parampara. And when it's received through the carriers of the mantra who are in that exact same mood, the mantra has immediate and potent effects on one's life, just as it did for Lord Brahma. Uvacha puratastasmai tasya divya saraswati. Kama Krishnaya Govinda he gopi jana ityapi. Balabhaya priyavanir mantraste tasiti priyam. And then Brahma, meditating on this mantra for a long period of time, was able to see the spiritual world. And then he, after hearing the flute song, which enters his 8 ear holes, he uttered the Gayatri mantra. Actually, he heard the flute as Omkar. And then after taking in that sound vibration, it came out of his mouth as Gayatri. Gayatri, which means the song that liberates. There are a lot of songs in this world that don't liberate. Like Bollywood songs. They just drive you nuts. Because you just want to like... And that's fun for a while, but when death comes and all the fake backdrops are pulled away, you realize that you're back where you started from. But with the Gayatri mantra, with the sound, this sound that's coming from the spiritual world through the authorized agency, passed down from one spiritual master to the next. Spiritual master means servant. Servant of the mantra, servant of the guru, servant of the shastra, servant of, by distribution, servant by living one's life in complete accord with the guru and sadhu and shastra. Then it can be potent. And one can see for oneself how it is potent. And one can see it in others how it is potent. That those who live their lives in that way then become transformed by that mantra. So this sound vibration came from Krishna's flute. It came into Brahma's 8 ear holes. He then spoke the Gayatri mantra, and then it's been passed down from one to the next. So you will receive today that very same series of mantras that have been given through our parampara. And the types of personalities who have meditated on this mantra and have digested it, have been encouraged by it, who have had full realization for this mantra, have given their mercy and made it available and has been passed down. It's said, there's an example of why it's important to, an analogy, that just with the banyan tree, that the seeds come out, but they don't grow naturally in the ground. They won't germinate, but there are certain kinds of sparrows that live near the banyan tree that eat those seeds, they digest them, they pass them out, and then they are ready to grow. So in a similar way, these mantras must be received through the digestion process. They are digested by the great sages and passed on to us. So we are encouraged by Jai Kanai Prabhu and Radhakripa Prabhu because of their steadiness and because of the vibrations that come from their mouths. And these are the two verifiable ways that one can understand if someone is advanced or not. You can't understand if someone says, I see Krishna every night, and I chant the mantra in my mind all the time. You can't tell one way or the other. Just like if someone says, I can't come into work today because I have a stomachache. You don't know. You have no idea if they do or they don't. They're just not coming. That's all there is to it. But in spiritual life, we know, because we can see if someone's steady. We can see if they show up every time, no matter what happens. And we can see that we can hear what they say. Is it merciful? Is it for service? Is it the language of the spiritual world? If yes, we know that this is advancement. And those who, you two, have exemplified that. And therefore, we're very proud today here at ISV to award you this mantra diksha initiation, which is no tiny thing. Please. It's mentioned in the scripture, Yata kanchanatam yati kamsam rasa vijanataha tata diksha vidanena dvijatam jayatendranam. And that is that just as a chemist can mix together various chemicals in the precise process that is given in the textbooks and get an exact results. Chemists, anybody in here? One? Oh. So in a similar way, if one follows the process of Diksha, as it's mentioned in the scripture, then one becomes transformed, becomes fully spiritually aware. Divyam jnanam yato dadyat kuryat papa sasankshayam. It also mentions that by this process of mantra diksha, one destroys all of one's previous obligations in this world, new contract, and destroys all sins by the process of mantra diksha. Deshikais tattva kovidai. Therefore, the great kovidais, the great learned persons call this diksha, which means divyam jnanam. You're taking in the highest kind of spiritual knowledge. Now we have the rest of you who are coming into the chanting of the holy name as your life and soul. And this is one of the steps on the process of coming closer to Krishna, known as Pancha Samskar, the process of initiation. It's not a one-time, it's not an event, it's not over when you take initiation. Initiation means beginning. But there are steps which are described, which are actually traditional. In the, those of you from South India know the various steps of tapa, pundra, nama, mantra, yaga. In fact, in other sampradayas, very demonstratively, when people move forward to take their initiation, you get a red-hot firebrand. Anybody have that? You won? Anybody else? You get the symbols of Vishnu burned into your skin. We don't do that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered Gopi Chandan. First step is mentioned as tapa. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, taking this traditional 5-step system, then gives a deeper meaning to each one of these stages. And in tapasya means tapa, the first stage, one begins to feel some regret for having wasted one's time in the material world. At the same time, there's an optimism that now I have somewhere to go. I'm not simply becoming bitter about my failure in the material world, but now I understand why I failed. Because this is the Dukhalayam. It's the place where you come for duk. What's that? Sadness, yes. Sadness, misery. Duk means to be out of alignment. It actually refers to this axle in a wheel. And when the axle gets out of alignment with the wheel, then it wears out, there's fires, you have a bumpy ride. I was in a car coming home from the St. Louis airport from our temple, and we were notorious for having the worst cars ever because Suradas was our temple president. And he is, and I'm going to use a nice word, the thriftiest of all. He saved all his money to spend on book distribution and not much on cars. I don't know if you've ever bought a $200 car, but I've ridden in several of them. And one of them caught on fire because the axle was out of alignment. And that's what the characteristic of the material world is. This is the Dukhalayam. But those who come to Krishna for relief very quickly find that the door is open. And Krishna extends himself in this material world especially through his holy name. Especially through his holy name. In fact, we know in the science of Krishna consciousness that those things that are in relationship with the Lord are non-different from the Lord. Tadiya, tadiyam. And the holy name of Krishna is no different from Krishna himself. Madhukari, give us one verse that proves that, please. You could give him a microphone.
One verse that proves that.
That proves that the holy name is non-different from the name itself.
I can't think of one.
How about Namachintamani Krishnas?
Namachintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purno Shuddho Nitya Yukto Binadvam Nama Namino.
Give him a big hand. That's not ordinary. That's not ordinary. You just be sitting there and someone asks you to prove something. This is what lawyers, top flight lawyers, if you say, okay, give me case law, and they just say it right off the top of their head. Who can do that? These are the followers in our Sampradaya. They can do that. This is the Madhukari Prabhu who can do that. But But many, many others can do this also. Even these kids can do, right? If I ask you? Yeah, you can do. If I ask you to tell a verse that proves that Krishna and his name are the same, you can do it, right? Yeah? Vrindavan will volunteer for anything. Binadvam Nami Namino says there's no difference at all between Krishna and his name. And then Rupa Goswami writes in his poem, Vacham Vachakam Ityudeti Bhavato Nama Rupas Dvayam. Swarupa Dvayam means, then he comes along and poetically he says, but there is a difference. He said, what's the difference? The difference is, although Krishna and his name are not different, the name is more merciful than Krishna himself. Why? Because the name extends himself into the dark material world. And anyone who simply utters the name, Hare Krishna, comes directly in contact with Krishna, and one's spiritual consciousness is revived by uttering the holy name. That's why Rupa Goswami says the name is more merciful than Krishna. So there are 10 offenses to be avoided, and this is the way to advance in chanting the holy name of the Lord, so that you actually experience the presence of Krishna in the holy name, is to organize yourselves so that you don't commit any of the 10 offenses. And out of the 10 offenses, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says there are 2 that are particularly troublesome. One of them is to vilify the devotees. So my strong recommendation for all of you who are eager to go back to Godhead, to have the result of purifying your heart without any obstruction, is simply to decide that you won't participate in vilifying devotees for any reason. Does that sound reasonable? And especially, don't put it on the internet. Ever. Because then it amplifies the effect, it goes out. It's not to say that one can't engage in conversation based on the scripture and argue laboriously for the sake of establishing the siddhanta. But one must do it in a way that is to bring a positive effect in the lives of those you're speaking to and everyone else who hears it. So the second, which is most dangerous, says Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is committing sin on the basis of chanting Hare Krishna. And that means that I'm initiated now, and now I can take liberties because the holy name will make up for it. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the results of doing those 2 types of offenses after one's taken the vow to chant Hare Krishna are frightening. He says they're frightening. And he also says that all of the other 8 offenses can be overcome by constant chanting and going on chanting. But for these 2 offenses, one has to actually suffer. reaction in order to purify oneself. So just my strong advice, don't engage in criticizing, vilifying, what's another word? Blaspheming. There are a long set of words, but you can think about it very carefully and observe your own speech and the way that you approach other Vaishnavas, and better to err on the other side and glorify devotees. Find something good with them. After all, Prabhupada used to say that flies seek stores, but the bees seek honey. So why not look for the honey? And in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, it's also mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that inattention, which is caused by laziness or indifference or distraction, these three things. What are the three things? LID. So laziness, indifference, and distraction. One has to be careful to remedy these obstacles to chanting the holy name of the Lord by keeping good association. If you feel yourself flagging when you're engaged in your chanting, call a friend and who's doing well and chanting nicely and get some good advice. Attend a seminar. Read about the mantra. Krishna tells Uddhava in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that the way one purifies a mantra is by studying it very carefully. And you'll notice when you actually study the mantras, like if you study the holy name, then immediately you'll feel more inspired to concentrate on it. Anyone had that experience? Yes? So, practical tip. Keep this as your life study and always stay on track for keeping attentive while you chant the holy names of the Lord. And by doing that, one, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, can then very handily overcome the other kinds of offenses in the chanting of the holy name. So today, we've assembled here, specifically in public, before the deities, before Srila Prabhupada, before the Vaishnavas, before your spiritual master, before all the directions, before all the elements, and soon before the fire, to give you the opportunity to proclaim your vows to the world. Let them stick. Let them go out into the ether. And just as when Bhishma Dev made his vows, he said, I'll never marry, I'll remain celibate for the rest of my life. Then this sound came from the Akash, from the skies, that said, Bhishma, this great vow. So this is a great vow you're all making today. It's the right thing to do. It's the thing that will actually change the world. Everyone's trying by various maneuvers to do stopgap measures to make the world a better place. But this is where it all starts, with this vow, that I will follow four regulative principles. This puts you above the fray. It protects you from the Kali Yuga, from the pernicious effects of the Kali Yuga. Don't be swayed. It's the same thing mixed over and over again in different varieties, and it's not worth it. As soon as you touch it, then you become obligated much more than you would expect. Much more than you would expect. Like, all this just for that? Yeah. It's there. Therefore, Krishna says, Ragadvesha vimuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaran amavasher videyatma prasadamarigaschati. He said, stay above the fray. Learn to regulate your senses. Follow the regulative principles of freedom. Become a hero in this material world. Resist the lower self by the higher self. Take help from the Bhagavad Gita every day. Take help from your mentors. And stay in this heroic condition throughout your life. You'll be very thankful at the moment of death that you maintain this vow very strictly throughout your whole life. This four regulative principles. Satyadev Prabhu wrote a Vyasa Puja based on this, his deep appreciation of how the four regulative principles have saved him throughout his life. he read it about 10 years ago, has had a lasting effect on me and anyone else who heard it. So take that to heart. And then this chanting, the vow to chant every day, keep it this vow is very dear. It's numerical strength. It's prescribed by our founder Acharya, this minimum of 16 rounds. And if you follow that, then we have the effect of following the great sages, tat tat karma pravartanat, or bejare munayota gre bhagavantam adhoksajam, sattvam vishuddham shemaya kalpante yenutaniha. That is, that previously all the great advanced personalities worshiped Lord Vishnu because they knew that he's beyond the modes of material nature and they will derive the highest benefit. And anyone who simply follows in their footsteps is eligible for the same result. And it's been adjusted for us perfectly by our founder Acharya. If you just take it in the package that it's given and dedicate your life to it, you are eligible for everything. So now we'd like to ask Satyadev Prabhu to say a couple of words because he's cultivated this science throughout his life and will benefit greatly from hearing anything he has to say to bless the devotees who have come here today to take initiation. And if someone would pass him a microphone, we'd be eternally grateful.
Jai Shri Shri Ramadan Mohan.
Jai.
Panchatattva ki jai. Lakshmi Nrsimha ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vaisesika Prabhu ki jai. Assembled Vaishnavas ki jai.
Jai.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. And I'm so happy for all of those of you that are signing up for a first and second initiation. And that's wonderful, and of course in itself, but I'm particularly overjoyed because you've chosen Vaisesika Prabhu as your spiritual master. And we have a lot in common, because for me, Vaisesika Prabhu is my Shiksha Guru, or I consider him my spiritual master, and he keeps me on the straight and narrow path and connected with Srila Prabhupada. And that maybe it doesn't sound unusual to you, or maybe it does, but I joined in 1970, and Vaisesika Prabhu joined in 1973, and through many years I heard his glories, but Krishna never brought us together until 1997. But from that time, Krishna consciousness is a practice for a lifetime, or maybe lifetimes. And within that, and my own personal experience, there have been ups and downs. And it was my godbrothers, and particularly significant godbrothers in my life, that kept me alive in Krishna consciousness. And since 1997, Vaisesika Prabhu has been keeping me alive in Krishna consciousness, even though I'm a rascal sometimes. He's true to his motto, which is fan the spark. Just like in my association with Srila Prabhupada, when I was in his presence, I felt like a servant of Krishna, because he saw me as a servant of Krishna, and he saw who I really am and who everyone really is. And so when I'm in Vaisesika Prabhu's association, I know that I feel that he sees me as a servant of Srila Prabhupada. And that inspires me, and that even if the light gets a little dim, in that fanning process, it awakens again. And so I'm really happy that you've chosen him, and that you're under his guidance, and that we're under his guidance together. And I have no doubt that as long as you stay close to his lotus feet, your path will be very easy. Not that you're not going to have difficulties at times, but if you have any doubts, I'm inspired by his words, but I'm also inspired by his example. And as long as our doubts are removed and we have someone inspiring us, then we can keep moving. It's just if those doubts arise, basically doubts arise from three sources. We may doubt ourselves, or we may doubt our teacher, or we may doubt the process ourselves. Right? So if we develop a doubt about the process, or about our teacher, or about can I do it or not, then our progress, we stop walking. Right? But as long as we don't have a doubt, we'll keep taking a step. But as soon as we have a doubt or a fear, we stop. And we, I know myself, I can speak clearly about all three of those doubts because from time to time I experience all of those. But in the association of advanced, inspired devotees, if you're lucky enough, fortunate enough, by Krishna's grace, to have the association of a pure Vaishnava, then you can make steady progress in Krishna consciousness. And I just want to add one more thing in relationship to the instruction you just received from Vaisesika Prabhu to carefully avoid blaspheming devotees and or speaking critical of Vaishnavas. I've seen in, 45, 46 years now, 47 years. I've seen within myself, and I've seen within others, those who are not envious, who are friendly and respectful to Vaishnavas, even though they have difficulty following the regulated principles sometimes, and they come, from all kinds of backgrounds. They can still join the kirtan and participate in Krishna consciousness and make advancement. But when we become envious, because of our own false egos, and we don't monitor that and watch out for that, then this great, horrible, dangerous thing can happen, and definitely we can lose, at least temporarily, what's inspiring us right now in Krishna consciousness. But Vaisesika Prabhu he walks the walk, and I call him the Teflon Maharaj. Because he doesn't stand for that kind of darkness, that kind of negativity. He won't go there, and it will just bounce off him. And even if you have that tendency in his association, you'll see right away, oh, that's not where I want to go. And let me stay in the light. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Satyadev Prabhu. Vaikuntanath Prabhu is here. If we can hear your voice, anything you'd like to say. Vaikuntanath Prabhu joined the Hare Krishna movement in 1967 and put himself under the full shelter of Srila Prabhupada, and somehow or other we've attracted him and his very illustrious wife, Banu, who come here from time to time. So just to make auspicity for this occasion, if you could say a few words, Vaikuntanath Prabhu.
I offer my most humble obeisances to all of the Vaishnavas, and I take it as such a great opportunity to be here with this wonderful temple, and I offer my greatest respects to all of you. I'm not much of a speaker, but I do offer my deepest respects. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please pass the microphone to Danishta, who's, what's that? Just a benediction or whatever you'd like to say.
I'm just extremely grateful to be connected with this temple and with the association. I can see that there's life. I'm being revived in my memory of book distribution and Sankirtan and preaching, how much life is there. And I'm very much indebted to this community and Vaisesika Prabhu and Nirkula Prabhu, your inspiration. If I can just trail behind you shouting Krishna, Krishna. All the rest of you are already doing that, so I'm coming here for your association. Thank you very much.
Just pass the microphone to Rasanath Prabhu, who's back there. He's a devote right there. He's right next to you. Who's very, very dear to us, and he's come a long way and stayed extra time just to be here for this occasion. So I just wanted to hear anything that's in your heart to encourage us.
I think whenever you see an act of commitment, it just inspires you to recommit your life. And so when I'm sitting here and looking at all of you, commitment is when it's done for the first time, it's very fresh, and life has a way to jade it. It actually corrodes it. But each time when I see ceremonies like this, it just inspires me to recommit again. It makes the commitment fresh again. So I'm just very grateful to be here. That's all I can say. Very, very grateful to be here.
And just pass the microphone to Bali Mardan Prabhu, who is one of the great stalwarts of our ISKCON of Silicon Valley. He's a great teacher of Krishna consciousness and has been a pillar here. So his words are deeply respected by all of us. Anything you can say to enliven the initiates today and all of us participating?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I would like to congratulations to all our ISV devotees, and also like to welcome those devotees who have come so far to ISP to celebrate Vaisesika Prabhuji's Vyas Puja yesterday. It was really one of the joyous event, and also it is a package weekend. It is really fulfilling and ever-joying. So I'd like to again congratulate everyone and make sure it is the beginning step and you continue forever to commit to Vaisesika Prabhu in his missions. Thank you very much.
And now the person who makes it possible for me to give the illusion that I'm doing anything in life, actually, I know for a fact that she's a better devotee than I am. I've seen her heart, and I know that it's pure. And she's fully surrendered to Prabhupada and keeps me aligned in Krishna consciousness. And I thank you very much, Nirkula, we just had our 30th wedding anniversary a couple of days ago on the 21st. And thank you very much for all that you've done for me. I'm eternally grateful.
Hare Krishna. I'm supposed to talk after that. Thank you. I would just like to congratulate you all and say I'm very happy for you, very proud of you all, and maybe to just also say a little like what Satyadev Prabhu said, that I have found, like he, and I know with Prabhu, that our friendships in Krishna consciousness have helped us, because the good times and the bad times will come, and it's important to have friends in all those times. Someone you can reveal your heart to, someone who has your best interest at heart. So I would also encourage you to fan that spark, to develop your friendships in Krishna consciousness. And also, I can really relate to what Rasanath Prabhu said, because, when you're at an initiation or a wedding, these commitments, they open everyone's hearts, and they remind us of what we've committed to in the past. So I feel it in the room. I feel all of our hearts are open, and our blessings are flowing from the hearts to you. And I wish you all success in your spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
And just a few more general pieces of advice. I mean, because Krishna, he doesn't tell Arjuna really to do anything. He just gives advice and then says, if you'd like, you can do. So, what? It's my opinion. It's the opinion of the Shastra. But this is my strong advice. And that is that don't imitate higher positions of devotional service, because Krishna is satisfied if you are honest and you do the best you can with what you have now. And also, never claim that you're permanently unqualified. That's also illegal. That's not true either. Everyone has the right to advance fully in Krishna consciousness, and no one can say you're permanently unqualified to become pure devotees and to come to the highest position. So you have to balance those two concepts, and that's the mindset of the devotee. Always eager to take full advantage of the next step, never imitating the higher stages, but always knowing that the full course of Krishna consciousness is completely available at every second. And also, one mantra can change your whole life if you chant with full sincerity. One footstep in circumambulating the temple, given with full sincerity, can send an spiritually electrical charge up your feet. I'm speaking sort of poetically, and enliven your heart forever. It's always there. Krishna's always there. The other thing, general advice is, and it's more edging on kind of an order, it's like going over on that side of it, and that is to read Prabhupada's books constantly. Get yourself on a schedule. It's not good enough to say that I read whenever I feel like it. You have to be on a schedule, and you have to know when you're going to finish all the books. And you have to do it all the time, and you have to do it for the rest of your life. That's just the way it is. Just like when you get old, you have to exercise every day. Otherwise, you'll fall apart really fast. And all of us, no matter what age you are, you have to read Prabhupada's books every day, or you will fall apart. Don't let yourself go. Don't become a casualty and say that I couldn't advance in Krishna consciousness. You can. But the key is you have to chant good rounds, and you also have to read Prabhupada's books every day. And it's good if you pick numbers you can start with, but look towards increasing it. The higher percentage of people who survive in Krishna consciousness are those who read Prabhupada's books very carefully, constantly, and they do it a lot. How much they do it? A lot. Yeah, a lot. Now we'd like to call the devotees to come. So first we'll ask the two devotees who are taking mantra diksha to come up. Be very particularly careful when you offer your obeisances. It's an important part of the ceremony to offer your dandavats, but do so that your feet are not going towards Prabhupada. Of course, it may be impossible to not have them going towards anybody, but just come in at an angle here. So, Jai Kanai Prabhu, please come up. Jai Kanai Prabhu is a silent sadhu, so silent that it's hard to tell that he's even there. But when he does speak or sing, you can feel the beauty of his heart, and he's fully interested in moving forward in Krishna consciousness. We've tested him. We've also interviewed him thoroughly. And so today I'm very, very happy to hand you this string that costs just a few paisa, but which is symbolic of your second birth in Krishna consciousness, which means that you are fully committed to developing all the qualities of the Brahman, and headed by cleanliness and truthfulness. And also, and later I will give you the mantras in a private place, as is the tradition. Also this certificate, which is certifying that you have attained. Hare Krishna. Jai Kanai Prabhu Ki. And now we call Radha Kripa Prabhu. Radha Kripa Prabhu has distinguished himself here at ISV as a fully dedicated servitor to all the devotees. In fact, I've come to trust him and depend on him so much that when anything's going haywire or sideways, according to my estimation, when I'm sitting in the temple, I always look to find Radha Kripa Prabhu, because I know just by looking at him, he'll know how to fix it. He'll know that I want something fixed, and he'll know how to fix it. And he's also distinguished himself by taking care of the devotees. We call him the Shivananda Sain of ISV, because he has organized year after year the yatra that goes down to Los Angeles, which is an incredible organizational feat. Moving troops around the planet is the hardest thing that you can do in any discipline. We thank him for supporting his whole family. He has a demanding life at home because he has work to do. I mean, I can't even imagine how hard the work is that he does. I visited some of the places where he works, and they're very demanding there. And at the same time, he does all his sadhana, and he always shows up at the temple. And I don't know how you do it, but I'm very thankful that you're here. I'd like to award you this Brahman's thread, which I'll give you the mantras, and I'll teach you how to use it later. And also this certificate that says that on this date, in this place, before all these devotees, you've received a mantra diksha initiation. Radha Kripa Prabhu Ki. Yay! And now we have the devotees who are taking the Nam initiation. This means they're not only making vows today, so we'll have a microphone here so they can speak their vows audibly, but also they're taking a new name. So this is part of the Krishna's Government Witness Protection Program, through which you get a new identity, a new name, and you can't be found by Maya. And first we have Suresh Prabhu. Suresh's daughter, Surabhi, came to me recently and with great enthusiasm and love in her eyes, just thanked me for offering this initiation to Suresh Prabhu. But it's not something that I need to be thanked for. It's something that through his dedication to the process of Krishna consciousness and his sincere desire to surrender to Krishna, he's compelled me and the rest of us to see him for what he is, and that is a very advanced devotee. And we thank you very much. And the whole family, this is a family that is dedicated, working together for Krishna consciousness, and I thank all of you very, very much. Hare Krishna. Suresh Prabhu, could you please tell us what vows you've come here to make today?
I take the vow that I will chant minimum of 16 rounds every day, and I will follow all the regulative principles. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. And I'll make sure that I give all respect to all the Vaishnavas and take their blessings, always.
Very powerful and wise vows, in my humble opinion. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I am exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. And your name actually is a very esoteric name because it relates. It is a place where Radha Krishna perform many of their most intimate pastimes. It's a little bit out of the way. That's why they go there. And it's also represented in Jagannath Puri as a place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he fell into the ocean in trance of ecstasy, was being carried away to this place, which is a representative in Jagannath Puri of that very place in Vrindavan where Radha and Krishna secretly meet. So it has some very deep connotation. So I hereby joyfully award you the name Surya Kund Das.
His girl Surya Kunda Das Prabhu ki jai. His girl Surya Kunda Das Prabhu ki jai. His girl Surya Kunda Das Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna. And this is your certificate, and there are no refunds or returns. Nicole. Nicole Prabhu, I've been particularly impressed with your service attitude and your determination. After getting to know you, I've become very inspired, and I'm so happy that you're moving forward in spiritual life. Just recently, he showed me the almost complete new app that we've expanded from our little card that I've been passing out called Be a Sage Page by Page. So soon we're going to have an app on your phone where you can measure how many pages a day you're reading, and also you can spin a little dial and tell how many pages you have to read each day to finish each one of Prabhupada's books, all thanks to his and his team's hard work on this project. So thank you very much. Before Krishna, the founder of Acharya Viskon, and your spiritual master, all these devotees, would you please tell, and everybody on the internet, by the way, and welcome to everybody who's joined us today. Everyone, please say Hare Krishna. So it's broadcast. This is permanent. Please tell us what vows you've come here to make today.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I take vow to chant minimum 16 rounds every day. I take vows for no gambling, no meat eating, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. And I will try my best to take your mission and Srila Prabhupada and Mahaprabhu's mission forward with all of my efforts.
Wow, very powerful. Thank you. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I am exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name is very sweet. It has to do with the means by which one attains the perfection of life. And I hereby joyfully award you the name Nam Smarnam Das.
His Grace Nam Saran Das Prabhu ki! His Grace Nam Saran Das Prabhu ki! His Grace Nam Saran Das Prabhu ki!
Kirtan hero Naam Smaran Prabhu ki.
Aditya Prabhu. Aditya Prabhu has been chanting Hare Krishna for a long time, and also he has a great friend in Mukaravinda Prabhu. And anybody who's a friend of Mukaravind is a friend of mine. He's a very humble. He's a very humble soul, but extremely dedicated and determined to the process of Krishna consciousness. And I can feel his deep enthusiasm. I can feel your deep enthusiasm. I'm very, very happy that you're here today. Could you please tell us what vows you've come here to make?
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. I take a vow that I'll chant minimum 16 rounds throughout my life. And I take a vow that I'll follow the 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex throughout my life.
Very nice. Well done. Your name is actually very dear to me. It's a name of one of the great personalities of the Bhagavatam, in one of the most important sections of the Bhagavatam. One of the descendants of one of the namesakes of India. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I am exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all of the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. I hereby joyfully award you the name Sri Antariksha Das.
His Grace Antariksha Das Prabhu ki! His Grace Antariksha Das Prabhu ki! His Grace Antariksha Das Prabhu ki!
As you know, the Navayogendras are Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Pravura, Pitpalayana, Avirhotra, Drumala, Chamasa, and Karabhajana. And they give instructions that will guide us on all levels of Krishna consciousness, from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Very powerful. Now, Bhakta Karl, Hare Krishna. I met Bhakta Karl in San Diego. How many years ago?
6 years ago.
6 years? Oh my goodness. It seems like such just recently. Time goes by so fast. But I remember it was right after the Sunday program, and we had some amongst the devotees, and you so urgently approached me to take shelter of this process of Krishna consciousness and move forward in Krishna's service. I was impressed. I always remember that night and the urgency with which you came forward and said, I need to do this, I need to take initiation and so forth. So I'm so proud of you. Really, you're a great success story of the Krishna consciousness movement. What vows have you brought in your mind and heart that you would like to express to the world today?
I vow to chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day for the rest of my life. I vow no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. Always in the association of the devotees.
Thank you very much. You said it with such verve that this is very, it's cemented in already. Yeah, it's very powerful. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the sanctity movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I am exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name is also from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and this name is very famous in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it also comes from the 11th canto, and you might even be considered a brother of Sri Antariksha Das. This great personality has, in the Bhagavatam, given many of the verses that directly show how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, don't say anything, it's out there, how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in the age of Kali Yuga to spread the Sankirtan movement. So this is a very meaningful name, and it'll be recognized by people all over the world. I hereby joyfully award you the name Sri Karabhajana Muni. Das.
His grace Munidas Prabhu ki. His grace Karabhajana Munidas Prabhu ki. His grace Karabhajan Munidas Prabhu ki.
So I forgot to say Das. That's the most important part of the name. Anthony. Hari Go. Anthony's brought his whole family with him here today, and this is a family of very enthusiastic devotees who are fully dedicated to Krishna consciousness. It's a very nurturing and safe environment to be in, a family environment. So we thank your whole family for being here today. Beautiful singing by Gandharvi today has enlivened us. Thank you very much. To your wife and his son, who is Nrsinga is over here thrilled to the core. Sorry, I didn't mean to. So to all the devotees who are having a watching party in Dallas today as a fan club, and seeing him and his whole family come here today, we thank you very much for all that you've done to help Bhakti Anthony move forward in Krishna consciousness. What vows have you come here to make today?
I vow to chant minimum 16 rounds daily for the rest of my life. I vow to follow the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. And I also vow to read Prabhupada's books enthusiastically daily.
Very, very wise vows. Thank you very much. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankartan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all of the previous acharyas in the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Now, I have to say that your name, you may have two brothers. Just that I'm really attached to this section of the Bhagavatam. And this is one of the, another of the great sages who came from Rishabhadeva. He had 100 sons. Out of them, 9 became great sages who are known all over the world, and had this extremely important meeting with Maharaj Nimi and spoke these immortal words. So you'll be connected to your namesake in that way. Also, we all pray that you have great success in your service. I know he's looking to develop farming projects in various ways. Please, everyone, give your blessings that he and his family can be successful. I hereby joyfully award you the name Shri Avarhotra Das.
His Grace Agnihotra Das Prabhu ki. His Grace Agnihotra Das Prabhu ki. His Grace Agnihotra Das Prabhu ki.
Puja Mataji. As I've told you before, I didn't know the extent of your service and your dedication to Krishna consciousness until I went to North Carolina recently, where you had served for some time, and all the devotees approached me. They were angry that we were keeping her here, and partly they were joyous because they were expressing how much your service meant to them in North Carolina. And that really touched me. And not only that, I've seen your enthusiasm to be engaged in Krishna consciousness and to move forward on this path. We wish you all Godspeed, that you can advance, and all your desires for pure devotional service will be quickly fulfilled.
Thank you.
Which vows did you come to make today?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I vow to take 16 rounds. I vow to chant 16 rounds daily for the rest of my life.
At least
16 rounds daily for the rest of my life, and following all 4 regulative principles, which include no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex.
Very good. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas in the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. And your name is not from the 11th canto. But actually it's the name of one of the most important books in our Sampradaya, written by Srila Jiva Goswami. I hereby joyfully award you the name Priti Sandarbha Devi Dasi.
Priti Sandarbha Devi Dasi Mata Ji ki Jai. Argas Priti Sandarbha Devi Dasi Mata Ji ki Jai. Argas Priti Sandarbha Devi Dasi Mata Ji ki Jai.
Gita, we're extremely pleased that Lord Chaitanya has sent you to this Sankirtan movement, and particularly to the Assembly of Vaishnavas here at ISV. You've been an emblem of determination. Through whatever happens in life, you've stuck to this process of Krishna consciousness with all your heart and soul. And we feel very fortunate that you're here. What vows have you come to make today?
I promise to chant minimum 60 rounds every day for the rest of my life. I promise to follow the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. I promise to read Prabhupada's book every day for the rest of my life. I promise to distribute his mercy to the rest of the world.
Pretty good. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name is a name of a chapter in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is extremely famous. I hereby joyfully award you the name Venu Gita. That's Venu Gita Dasi. Hare Krishna. Sridhar. Prabhu, I like you very much. For many reasons. One of them is that you have a natural enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness, which I came to discover recently as you so deeply embraced the Srimad Bhagavatam, began memorizing full chapters and reciting them. And I've heard the recordings. And I was very impressed that Krishna consciousness is a way of life for you, something that is very natural.
Thank you, Maharaj.
And I'm very happy that you're moving forward in this line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj.
What vows have you come here very eager to speak out to the world?
Yes, Maharaj. I vow to chant minimum 16 rounds every day, and I vow to follow principles, which is no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication.
Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name is actually, I like this name for you because you're so interested in Sanskrit and learning verses and so forth. And it's one of the books that is not well known by Srila Jiva Goswami that has to do with Sanskrit grammar. I hereby joyfully award you the name Sutra Malika Das.
Sutra Malika Das Prabhu ki! Jai! Sutra Malika Das Prabhu ki!
Vikas. See, there's people out on Sunday cheering for football teams. We have to cheer more than them because this is more important. Vikas Prabhu, I'm very glad to have come to know you. Your devotion, when I began to see how dedicated you are, you expressed to me how you want to dedicate your whole life. I could see in you a great desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. And Vikas Prabhu has also been helping with the application and other technical terms to help move forward the expansion of Krishna consciousness in the internet. And please tell us what vows you've come here to make today.
Yeah. So I vowed to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, minimum of 16 rounds, and to follow the regulative principles of no meat eating, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
Well done. Thank you. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Name is also a book by one of our most important acharyas, Srila Sanatana Goswami. He gave a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I therefore joyfully award you the name Vaishnav Toshani Das.
Haribo! His Grace Vaishnav Toshani Das Prabhu ki! Jai! His Grace Vaishnav Toshani Das Prabhu ki! Jai! His Grace Vaishnav Toshani Das Prabhu ki! Jai!
Okay, so Nirkula is recommending that all the initiates should pass their certificates to someone who hold it, just in case you throw it in the fire. And we do have video evidence, but we don't want to risk anything here. And you might get him greasy also. So now, Srivas Pandit Prabhu, would you please invoke the blessings of the Lord by starting the fire yajna? Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki.
Jai!
Now everyone can move a little closer. Feel free to come up, but behave yourselves.
Om Tat Sat Shri Govinda 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 Asyaham Shubhati Shuta Gotra Srivas Pandit Dasa Shri Krishna Pritatyam Diksha Samskara Karamyaham Karishyami. Yeah, you can start now.
Bolo. Ananda Singh.
Sanat Kumaro,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
ऋषि ब्रह्मचल श्री सुदेवताग्निस्थापविनियोगं देवो स्वाहा ओम दीपाचुरेवहि दशान्तरमद्वितेता दीपायते भूते समुदर्मास्यादित्यादिमायितं सम्पन्नं भजामि
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Tadvishno Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Shivo Deva Chakshuratam Viprasho Pranyo Jagravanta Om Samgati Yadishno Padam Padam Om Krishna Vai Sachidananda Ganaha Krishna Adi Purusha Krishna Purushottama Krishna Karmadi Moolam Krishna Akasham Krishna Chitadi Som
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You can tell him to stop now. Hare Krishna. So the next part is the Mangalacharan prayers, where we offer this to spiritual master and the Guru Parampara. So after each swaha, we just take few grains and then we put it into fire. So you can repeat the mantras after me as I am speaking the mantras, and then you can go ahead and offer the grains to the fire.
The ones in the devotees in the back, instead of trying to make it all the way to the fire, just like we're doing here, if you separate your small bowl of grains, and each time you do swaha, you can put it onto the tray as an offering, and later on we'll put the rest in. Go flying all over everywhere and on everyone.
Yep.
Those who are close enough in the front row can put right in the fire.
Okay. So kindly repeat after me. Oh, it's okay. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Swaha 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 Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Swaha 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 Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Alam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shakanvitamscha Idam Gurobhya Swaha Idam Namamaha Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Vaisesika Dasa Adhikari Nitinamine Namaha Praharsha Shilaya Prabhupada Anurine Anindita Hridaye Tasmai Shastra Bhajana Chodine Idam Diksha Guruve Swaha Idam Namamaha Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Mine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshe Tarine Idam Prabhupadaya Swaha Idam Namama Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Nitinamine Sri Varshabhana Videvi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाद्या श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुण शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्धापा अपसिद्धान्तद्वान्तहारिणे इदं भक्ति सिद्धांताय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 नमो गौरकिशोर साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बा रसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजायते नमः इदं गौरकिशोराय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 नमः भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते इदं भक्तिविनोदाय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 गौराविर्भाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जनप्रियः वैष्णवसार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः जगन्नाथाय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 वाञ्छाकल्पा तरुभयश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः इदं वैष्णवेभ्यो स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते इदं कृष्णाय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 जयतं पंगोर मम मंदा मतेर्गतिः मत्सर्वस्वा पदाम्भोजौ राधा मदनमोहनौ इदं मदनदेवाय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 दिव्या वृंदारण्या कल्पद्रुमदः श्रीमद् रत्नागरा सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ प्रेष्टालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि इदं विदेयाय देवाय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 श्रीमान रासरसारंभी वंशीवट स्थितः कर्षन्वेनुर् स्वनैर्गोपीर् गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु नः इदं प्रयोजनादिदेवाय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 तप्तकाञ्चना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये इदं राधाय स्वाहा इदं न मम स्वाहा 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 श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद स्वाहा 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 ओम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा. So the next portion is called the Prayashchita Homa, where we beg the Lord for any offenses that we might have committed to forgive us for that. So kindly repeat after me.
And before you do that section,
yes,
I just want to make one more in front of the fire and everyone else. I want to thank Her Grace Shraddha Devi Dasi for her time work, and this is a team effort to bring all of us to a higher position in devotional service, and she has taken a lion's share of the work to help to connect all the devotees to this process of initiation that's taking place today. So please thank her very much. But a little more than that, because
okay. So kindly repeat after me. Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardhana Yat Pujitam Maya Paripurnam Tadastu me Swaha 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 Om Aparadha Sahasrani Kriyante Aharnisham Maya Dasoham Itimam Matva Kshamaswa Madhusudana Swaha 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 Om Pratigya Tava Govinda Name Bhakta Pranashyati Iti Smritya Samsmritya Pranan Samadaram Yami Aham Swaha Swaha Swaha. So everybody of you has banana right in front of you, so we just stand up for this part where we do the Purnahuti or the final offering. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, please also bring your grains for those who were in the back. No. For those who were in the front, that's okay. For those who were in the back, they can bring the grains and then put them around the fire, not immediately on the fire. So kindly repeat after me. Om Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Swaha Swaha Swaha. So you can put that into the fire, and then there will be kirtan, and then Vaisesika Prabhu can lead the kirtan, and then we can.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The can circumambulate. Everybody else, wait for them to go around. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 Bo
Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prevrajagacharya Stotarista Shishimad Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Maharaj ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki, Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to the assembled devotees. Glorious to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande Haribo. Namaste Narashinghaya. Prahlalada Dadayine. Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha. Shilatanka Nakalaye. Ito Nishingha Bharato Nishingho. Yato Yato Yami Tato Nishingha. Bahira Nishingo Edaye Nishingo. Nishingabading Sharanam Prapadye. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakamaduta Sringam Dalitaira Bhutanu Bringam Keshavadrita Nadahari Rupa Jajagadhisha Hare Jajagadhisha Hare Jajagadhisha Hare Tavakara Kamalava Akamadhuta Shringa Tavakara Kamalavare Nakamadhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashi Bhutanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahare Rupa Jai Jagadhisha Hare Jai Jagadhisha Hare Jai Jagadhisha Hare Kamadhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashi Bhutanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahare Rupa Jai Jagadhisha Hare Jai Jagadhisha Hare Jai Jagadhisha Hare Jai Bhakti Vignavanashana Shri Nishingadev ki Bhakta Pravada Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki Go Premanande. Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, hey, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman.